shit happens, but I'm not going to be the person that walks away. And like I said, I'm not a tough guy, but I think there's right and wrong.
Yeah.
And I think we're getting farther and farther away from that.
That's part of the divide, which is where this comes back into the first part of the conversation. Yeah.
Yeah. Vote for the orange man. And there's just a bunch of fucking tofu eating, fucking man bun wearing dorks and no pussy at all. Yeah.
Hold down, baby! Woo! Is he down? Is he a big one? Is he down? Gorilla of the truck trying to get the damn shot.
Bullshit, man. Look at the thing.
4 more shorts. Yeah. That sack fucking hanging out. Don't fucking doubt the fucking 6 millimeter.
Shoot him, shoot him. All right, hold on. Hold on.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Those fucking Amish would have shot that motherfucker.
Got a face only mother can love.
That's great.
Dude, you have such a distinct laugh in there.
Oh, dude.
I mean, I don't have a voice, but your laugh is very, very distinct.
It's funny you say that because there was that was a good mashup of a lot of things.
And she said the video goes better with it when you see it on YouTube because all those clips are.
I didn't even connect that. Yeah, go watch the on video on Facebook or YouTube would help you correlate what we're talking about. But it was a good hodgepodge of all of our hunts.
I know that the Amish one must have been when we didn't shoot those elk up on the side of that mountain.
Oh yeah,
at dusk. That was because the Amish were right down. Yeah, they would have smoked every one of those.
Yeah, they didn't get very far from camp. It seemed like
no, but remember when that motherfucker came from like 2,000 feet down in like 10 minutes and he was at the top and he wasn't even breathing hard.
But what I really appreciate is wearing sweatpants.
Yeah. We all fucking stress out over all this gear and shit. This motherfucker just rolled out of bed and came hunting.
Just fucking. I think he was a Mennonite, but he had sweatpants on.
Yeah.
And he's fucking 10 miles into the backcountry.
Yes. And remember, so when we were 7.5 miles into the camp when they rolled up with all their mules and all that, the girls were in like flats. Like the shoes were like fucking standard flats.
Really?
Like no, yeah.
Did they have the long dresses on?
Yes, that was. Then they had the long. So they had the fucking full skirt on with the flats, and they had just done 7.5 miles, and they weren't riding the mules; they were walking them.
I wonder if did they ride down the hill, or they just were walking them total.
Yeah, I think they walked them the whole fucking way, dude. They were all carrying shit.
Were they black mules?
I don't remember the color of the.
I vaguely remember.
I'm not racist.
Video of this. I'm not racist. I don't think the black mule cares.
Oh shit!
So we talked about what we're going to talk about today because, as normal, I have all these notes and I'm organized. And Jake just rolls in and said, "Let's just talk about."
Well, we haven't recorded it in a while, so it already feels weird.
Yeah, it's been a month.
Yeah,
we've been out chasing stuff around, or I have.
Well, not me. Yeah,
and
lucky.
I have nothing to show for it, but I do have. It helps with
my stress
levels.
You are the elk watcher. I did see some pictures.
Oh, you
did watch them.
Yeah. It's having standards sucks.
Yeah,
it does. But we're gonna have a strong next 3.5 weeks, so we'll see what happens.
I hope so.
We do have something very special coming on November 5th. It's coming for really fast.
Is that election day?
It's election day.
Oh fuck!
And as you can see in here, and to be honest, if you are in the gun industry, if you are for 2A rights, if you're for personal rights, libertarians, whatever, there's only one person to vote for, and I'm right here. I'm pointing to my Trump 2024 sign. If you're voting for the cackling bitch, you're already should just stop listening to this podcast.
I was gonna say, what percentage? Like what? I don't know how many. I don't even know how many listeners we have. Let's say there's 1,000. Out of those 1,000, what percentage do you think would vote for Kamala?
Well, any of them should stop listening and never fucking tune in.
I'm just saying, like a real number. Like, what do you think?
I bet you, and somebody will bitch and say, I don't want to hear about politics. Well, fuck, come on, dude. You're in a 2A fucking category. Politics matter to us.
Yeah.
So I would bet you, out of it, say we have 1,000 listeners, I would bet you, I'm going to hope, like 25.
Fuck.
25.
Oh, 25 total, not 25%.
No, fuck. If it's 250,
okay.
We're really doing shit
Well, if it's
wrong.
25, you motherfuckers just get out of here.
Yeah, don't listen to us anymore, because if you're voting for that side, and even bigger than 2A, if you're for the invasion at the border, if you're for fucking ripping babies out of moms that are 9 months old and killing them, you shouldn't be listening to us. We don't want you to listen to us. But anyways, the whole thing is for Idaho listeners, we brought it up. There's two things really important.
This is for state of Idaho.
This is for
voting.
the state of Idaho voting. Is no on Prop 1, which is ranked choice voting, and why people say, well, you're letting these independents do this, but this is what they do. They do this in Pennsylvania. Say we have 2 Republican candidates in the primaries. They allows a Democrat to become a Republican and vote for the lesser choice. So they get elected in the primary to run against the Democratic choice that may be stronger than that weaker Democrat or weaker Republican choice. So they become a Republican for the primaries, vote for the crappier candidate, and then switch back to Democrat and beat that crappier.
That's just a fucking game.
It is a fucking game. And that's how they do it in California. That's how they do it in Pennsylvania. And I don't know the other states. I know those 2 states do it. So no on Prop 1 in Idaho. And then there's another thing. And I just totally lost my train of thought on it, but it's an Idaho state constitutional amendment that it shouldn't even be a fucking amendment. It should be common sense that does not allow non-citizens to vote, which you would think is common sense. So make sure you vote for that constitutional amendment to not let non-citizens vote. And no on Prop 1.
Yeah. Well, I think that's their goal. That's why all the illegals are coming over the border.
Oh, that's their goal to make that's the reason they want to inherit those 2 other countries.
I wonder how many states that's already a law, let alone the ones that are trying to make it a law.
I have
or
no
amend
idea.
the Constitution.
Like, to me, you would be like, how the fuck can a non-citizen get any kind of government help? They don't pay into taxes.
Well, I told you my story at the fucking, we told the story on the podcast, I think, at the DMV.
Oh, you
when
told
my
me. I
daughter
don't
was
know if
fucking
you
there.
told that story.
Oh, maybe I didn't tell the story. So we're there to get my daughter's DMV permit. And not only did this, God, I almost said some bad shit. So there's a guy, all the names are up on the TV screen, and the appointments are kind of automatically checked in. They're on the right-hand side. On the left-hand side, there's a guy named, I guess we'll just say Jose Martinez, right? I'm not going to say nothing else.
It's the most generic name. Jose Juan Martinez.
Yes, that's what it said.
Yeah.
And Jose gets up to the window, and I'm sitting directly behind him so I can hear the entire conversation. And basically walks up, and he's like, I need to get a driver's license. Okay. Do you have your birth certificate, social security number, passport? Like, what documentation do you have? And he hands her this piece of paper. And it turns out this piece of paper was something that he got that basically foregoes the need for any type of identification at all. And he went he went straight to go. What do you say that, Pat? What do you call that one? Monopoly. Anyways, he went around the whole fucking board and went straight to go. Didn't have to do anything. Showed no document. That motherfucker took his picture and left with a driver's license. And then my daughter is there. And we were there a month too soon, and they wouldn't give her the fucking permit or whatever, or the like. So this guy goes straight to go with no documentation of any kind.
Don't know if he can drive. Don't know if he has car
Didn't
insurance.
take a fucking test, dude. Didn't take nothing. Like literally, whatever this paper was that he had from Border Patrol, or whatever the fuck it came from, was a free pass.
So there's zero vetting going on.
Yep.
Period.
But now, so when you go to vote, though, just to your point about this proposition or the constitutional amendment, this guy now has the means to go and vote. He has an identification that's supposed to prove that you are a resident, you are a U.S. citizen, but they handed it to him for free.
And that's this fucking state.
That
of
happened
Idaho,
right in front of me.
a very red state.
Yeah.
So imagine what's happening in blue states.
Yeah.
This was their goal. Like Elon Musk posts about it all the time. The reason the border's wide open is to get those votes. And you can't say it's not. It's fucking happening in red states. Imagine the cheating that's happening in blue states. People say, oh, well, Trump keeps talking about cheating. Everybody cheats. I'm not going to say the right doesn't cheat, but the left is professional level fucking cheaters. And that's what we got to get rid of.
So a story that happened this morning that kind of, it'll bring liberals into it or whatever you want to say. But basically, so Jessica's telling me a story. She had just got done with her gym. She gets up at fucking 4:30 and hits the gym at 5, right? So she's just getting done with her class. And they're in like the front of the gym looking out into the parking lot, and they can hear this guy yelling. Turns out it's a dude yelling at his wife, and they're inside of a car together. All the windows are fogged up, she says, and the car's literally like shaking back and forth. And she can hear the guy yelling at the lady. And apparently the lady's door tried to open a couple times but was slammed back shut. And they ended up calling the police. But I was thinking to myself, like, My thought were like, if I was in the front of the gym there right there and I had just got done working out with the wife and I look out and I see that happening, the question is, what do you do, right? Mm-hmm. So then the reason I bring this in is because I picture like all these women in there and then maybe a couple dudes, you know, like some Tesla type of dudes. And they're looking out there and like, oh my God, like I can't get in front. I might get hurt or something or beat or anyways, I just picture those are the liberals staring out there just letting bad shit happen where I ask myself, like, I don't know what you would do. Mm-hmm. So I ask myself, what would I do? And I guess if I physically saw a man like hitting a woman, yelling is one thing.
Yeah.
But if like she's trying to get out of the fucking car and he's grabbing her by her hair or some shit, dude, I'm fucking going out there and doing something.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit back and watch. And it might not be my business.
No.
But there's a point like in a man, like a real man, like there's a point from a man's perspective, whether it becomes, you know, we're bigger, stronger, whatever, where if there's another man abusing a woman in your sight and you have the ability and power to make changes there or do something about it, that you have to.
To me, there's the right thing to do. And they would call that toxic masculinity. That's
yes, exactly. That's why I'm bringing this into it. It's kind of that political line between liberal men and conservative men.
Yes, they have like a whole show about that, like kids getting they're actors, but they're like abducting a child, or slapping a chick right in the face.
And you look at people that are in real life walking by doing nothing about it because they just, you know, whether they think it's not their business or, I'm just saying, like, if they were yelling, that's one thing. But when yelling becomes physical abuse, I mean, you got to do something. There
is, and it's like, what would you do? Well, I kind of have her, for instance, and I'm not saying I'm cool. It just happened. I was going to pick Tanya up. I was stationed in Georgia, and I was going to Atlanta, and I pulled into a Burger King, and something was up with the drive-thru. So I walk in, and there's a dude, and there's kind of a long line because their window was closed, their drive-thru window. And there was a guy, a couple people in front of me, and then there's another little tiny guy, and I'm 99% sure he was disabled somehow. And this other guy is standing behind him, berating him about not moving forward. And he's basically, you know, move forward, pay attention, blah, blah, blah. So the guy is pushing on the guy's back. And it's a pretty good sized line. You know how it kind of weaves back and forth with the metal rods. And I'm watching it go down. I'm not really paying attention. Well, then he starts and I'm thinking maybe it's a relative or maybe it's, and then you start watching for a while and you're like, this, they don't know each other. Yeah. They don't. But he's like prodding him and pushing him and calling him fucking stupid. And there's like 4 dudes in front of me, 3 dudes just standing there watching it. And I'm waiting there for like 10, 15 minutes. Like I said, the fucking line is long because the drive-thru is closed. And I finally got enough of it. And I just walk up and said, dude, what's the fucking deal here? Do you know this guy? Do you have a problem with this guy? I said, obviously this guy's handicapped somehow. I don't know if he had Down syndrome. I can't remember. And the guy's like, no, he's just being stupid. And I said,
good Lord.
I'm pretty sure he's handicapped and you're being a fucking asshole.
Yep.
And they totally shut the guy down.
Yep.
And after that, he didn't say nothing to him. Yeah. But that's all it takes is there will be confrontation and you're not going to be a bully. That's all it takes sometimes.
Yep.
And it's just, you see it happening. I've really never seen that happen outside of that. But I hope I would believe that I would say do the right thing. And I'm not trying to be tough. It's just doing the right thing as a human. Mm-hmm. But you don't know till you're in the situation. And when you watch those shows, lots of people just turn the other cheek. They don't even pay attention.
Yes, they do.
So
even when they see, they pretend not to see. I might get hurt. I might get, involved. The cops might get me.
Yep.
Yeah,
you might be the problem.
What if I go out there and I, open the fucking ladies' door, get the lady out, and the dude walks over there and just decks me, and I get in this fucking fight with a guy? Well, I'm sure when the cop pulls up and all the witnesses say there was domestic abuse going on and that guy fucking stepped in to help, I'm not going to jail.
No, I don't think you are.
No.
But, on the flip side was what if that lady got strangled to death or shot or stabbed and you did nothing and you could have? That's what I always think about.
Yes.
I've been hit before. I've been stabbed. I've never been stabbed, but I've been kind of shanked with a screwdriver before. Shit happens, but I'm not going to be the person that walks away. And like I said, I'm not a tough guy, but I think there's right and wrong. Yeah. And I think we're getting farther and farther away from that.
That's part of the divide, which is where this comes back into the first part of the conversation. Yeah.
Yeah. Vote for the orange man.
So if you find yourself a person that might do something about that as a man or as somebody that feels obligated to do the right thing, I think there's the right thing to do in this election. Whether you think it's the right thing, I don't know. I think there's a right thing to do here.
And it happens to be all right.
That's right.
All right, enough on politics.
Yes.
We have, I got to call him. Tyler Freel has a interesting little story that he wanted to tell us, and it correlates with the thread on Rockslide about 6mm because there's guys on there claiming that 243s just won't kill deer, which say whatever you want.
Oh man.
But 243s and killing deer, it's pretty sad. If you don't think you can bust a shoulder with a 243 bullet, a good bullet, Tyler's got a good story for you. I'll have to get him on here.
Everybody talks about how tough those shoulders are that you can't break them.
They're bulletproof. Hold on one sec. They're bulletproof. You can't actually kill anything with a 243 or 6mm or 223, 6.5. Like you can't even shoot them with a 6.5 because they'll bounce off.
We're gonna go kill some deer with a 6.5 tomorrow.
Oh, how's that? Speaking of that, is that?
Yeah, it's fucking going down.
It's happening.
I hope Jessica's gonna get to shoot first, man. She's got an addiction now.
She does.
Gotta feed the addiction.
So how is this gonna be a whitetail? Correct.
Yes.
And it's going down tomorrow.
Tomorrow evening, and if we don't make it happen tomorrow evening, we'll be back the following morning and the following evening to make sure.
And it's a buck or bust.
Oh yeah, there's lots of bucks where we're going. Whitetail buck. Got him?
Tyler, you there? Tyler, can you hear us? Oh, hold on.
Yes, I can.
Oh, there he is.
What's up, man?
Oh, not actually just try to catch up on my stack of targets that I'm measuring and loaded up 50 nose ring D-tacks in a 6 arc to max with.
Speaking of that, what you sent me a picture yesterday. You thought you had one come in sideways keyhole. What happened?
I know I did.
What happened?
I'm trying to figure that out. Like, I don't know, from what I can figure, that's a 7 twist. Well, it's in a Cube mini fix 16-inch barrel that I think is a 7 twist. Like, I would think it'd be fine. And I just got this batch of D-tacks, and so out of maybe like 50 shots, 2 of them have keyholed, but the rest are like stupid accurate. So it could just be something like where the relationship with that barrel temperature, like whatever the freaking
what do you have on the end of the barrel?
Above my head. Just a suppressor.
And you're sure there's no baffle strikes or anything going on?
100%, yeah.
Maybe I would manually measure the twist on that barrel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
Yeah.
You said it's 1 in 7. You thought
it should. Yeah, that's the word I'm getting. Although it's not like 100% certain.
Is it 16 inch?
So yeah,
Yeah, that should be a 7 twist of 16 inch should be more than fine.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's like 2,500. So like not screaming, but not terribly slow either. So it's weird, and it's not like it's doing that sometimes, and then in throwing wide groups, it's like stupid accurate, and then you get one sideways that's like half an inch or an inch off the. Like I said, I loaded up 50 to go. I'm gonna go shoot maybe a 25 shot group at 100, and then shoot a 25 at 300, just to see if it happens again. One thing I also wanted to try, because I accidentally ordered the TBN coated ones, just because I'm stupid.
That's all I shoot.
And so
I don't think you're stupid. That's all I shoot.
Yeah. So just to see if it makes any difference, I just cleaning off A-tips or something. I just wrapped them in some paper towels with alcohol and cleaned the coating off. So I'm gonna try them like that, and we'll see. But yeah, manually measuring the twist on that barrel, and if it seems to still do it, there's plenty of other bullets I can shoot in it too. I'm really wanting to save those for that six Creedmoor that you're going to be putting together for me eventually here. So
you might when you load up the next batch too, I would make sure you rotate after they're loaded. Just rotate the round in your hand and eyeball that nose ring for the full circumference to make sure there's maybe it was a hair deep and broke through the jacket, something like that, or it's uneven.
Yeah,
and you can usually see it. There's a little hole in that cut.
Just inspect those.
Yeah, no, I still I'll go through all these ones just to make sure and see. And if I see one, I might set it aside and shoot it separately and see if that makes a difference.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of a tinkerer, so
yeah.
Either way, I'll have fun.
When is the due date on that Creedmoor, Jake? Putting him on the spot. Putting Jake on the spot. He has no idea.
Yeah, I'm absolutely the wrong guy to ask now at this point.
That's why I asked him, because I knew he'd be like, that's a Jessica question.
Yeah.
Tyler, Tyler Freel, that's who's on here. I don't know if I said that earlier, but we have a question because I was just reading, we're through Rockslide this morning, and I had to post up your femur picture you sent me because there is gentlemen's on Rockslide, a couple of them, claiming that deer shoulders, deer penetration with 243s is not enough. So I wanted you on to kind of go through your scenario with your moose, with your 22 arc. Can you kind of take us through what happened?
Yeah, I sure can, man. So I was shooting 88 grain ELD match factory loads with after like getting I was waffling between that and an 80 ELDX. And after like getting feedback from some guys that had just been shooting stuff on what was going on, I was just like, well, I want to scratch that itch anyway. So factory 88s out of a 20-inch gas gun was like 26.95 at the muzzle. So I ended up shooting my moose at about 170 yards. And first shot, so he's walking through some brush. We got the video and everything finally published. But he's walking through some brush, and like I had to pick a window that he would walk through to shoot him. And first shot hit him like perfectly right in the middle of a rib, broadside, like through both lungs. So first shot, like, came through the ribs, maybe like, I don't know, the hole through the ribs is like the size of a nickel maybe. And then like kind of blew off one of the lower near lobes of the lung and put a hole about, I don't know, maybe like 4 inches, like just, I kind of say the size of a baseball. That's kind of about what it was between the two lungs, and then like terminated somewhere in the offside lung. And, stuff happened real quick. I was hoping that I just like, a lot of times you'll shoot them and they'll just stop and stand there, or they'll run a little ways. He took off running. So like my instinct took over and he just like kind of like jumps and kind of takes off at a run quartering away. And I shot a second time, and that one hit him right, like perfectly in the back of the hind-quarter, like right in the meatiest, like thickest, meatiest part of the hind-quarter. And I didn't see it at the time, but his leg like just totally went dead on him. And then I hit him again right as he stopped about I don't know, like it was 2 ribs over from the first shot, kind of quartering a little bit more forward on this shot. And so the one that hit him in the ham, after I got it back and cut it up, I was kind of surprised when we cut the skin in the hindquarter, because I was like, man, I only see 2 shots, and then I'm skinning the hindquarter and see that neat little 22 cal hole right through the skin. I was like, uh-oh, this is going to not be pretty. So get the quarter popped off, and I can already see like the ball of the on top of the femur is just loose, like hung there by some tissue. And after I got it home, cut it up, that bullet put from about 1 inch after it went in, put like maybe racquetballish size hole through, it was about 10 inches of meat, and then like totally shattered the top of the femur. And I mean, the femur's like, I don't know what, like 3 inches in diameter, like probably one of the biggest portions of bone on that whole moose's body, except for maybe like a knuckle or shoulder knuckle or something. But and I never found the bullet. Like I never found a piece of jacket, and I think the only thing I could come up with is that bullet ended up somewhere like in guts and body cavity. I never found any like gut material, but there was like just so much blood in there. I never found that bullet. And then the third shot put a much bigger entrance hole, and I'm 99% sure it tumbled, like hit a twig and tumbled and keyholed into that bull, and that tore off like maybe a 6-inch section of the near lung lobes, like on the lower side. In the video, I kind of flip them around, and you can see just this huge gash. And then it exited the offside lung, like golf ball, whatever size, a little bigger than that maybe, and then ended up against the opposite scapula. And the reason I'm like sure that bullet didn't, after like asking some questions, is that bullet like didn't open at all, and it's all just flattened out and twisted and stuff. So it was pretty interesting, like for a couple of like not ideal situations that everyone likes to talk about. I'm like, man, I got to say it was pretty impressive. You know.
So I got a few questions.
Yeah.
From first shot till it was on the ground dead, how long was it?
I think 40 seconds, which is like really normal for moose.
Was the
You
first
know, anywhere from,
yeah, oh yeah. Like probably what is the average? You've shot a lot of moose. What's the average time with any rifle? The average time CNS shots that you see go down?
yeah, like probably around 30 seconds or so. Like not having timed them, but I mean, I've seen like I've had them drop really fast, like within 3 or 4 seconds, and I've had them like the bullet, you know, and I've had them stand there or seen them stand there for more than a minute or 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Like a buddy of mine shot his with 300 PRC this year. Like, you know, I think it was 212 ELDXs, 100 yards right through middle of both lungs, broadside. The only reason he didn't shoot him again is because you could see the steam like pouring out. And that bull was on his feet for like almost a minute and a half or over a minute. It was
Bleeding
almost
out.
to the point where you're like, is everything okay? But it just varies. Like anything in that range is like pretty normal.
Was your first shot fatal? Would have died from that shot?
100%, yes.
And you're telling me a bullet hit some brush. I want people to let this sink in. A bullet hit some brush, went in the animal sideways and went all the way across the fucking moose.
Yeah, and it was like literally like up against the scapula on the offside.
Is it 88?
So
ELDM?
I mean that's 88 ELDM.
And what was the velocity?
20 impact velocity was like 2450-ish. It was like 2695 out of the barrel.
26.
Out of the muzzle.
And what was the yardage?
170.
So 2,700, 170 yards.
Yeah.
Hopefully I did my math right because you're going to check me.
No, but it's more to you've hunted deer and elk. Do you think a deer and elk scapula, let's just say an elk because it's a little bigger, is anywhere near the size of that femur joint that it went through?
No. Not even close. I mean, a moose scapula isn't even that thick. Like they're, unless like the thickest part, if you hit something with, I mean, it's also ultimately a lot of this stuff's just speculation,
right?
Because stuff's gonna blow through and like, they're not that heavy duty. And I mean, I've killed a lot of blacktail deer. I've killed a few whitetails and stuff. Like there's not much to them at all.
It was 6 arc, yeah.
22 arc.
22, yeah, done. 22.
Yeah. So that femur wasn't, there wasn't a hole through it. That femur was fucking shattered. I showed Jake a picture.
It was exploded. Well, and as I started like butchering the hindquarter, I kind of like cut the top end of it off with my meat saw, and I'm like, kind of worried I was going to lose a bunch of meat and start just going through cross section by cross section, taking that thing apart. And initially I thought that it had just knocked that ball off the femur, but it completely shattered that whole top of the femur.
Do you feel under gun with that 88 grain bullet?
No, I don't.
Do you ever think you'd want to add a little more velocity there? Like, for example, now that you can see the performance, maybe switch to a 22 Creed so you can extend your distance a little bit?
Well, like yes and no. I don't know that I think I'm pretty excited about the arc, and I think that'll do what I needed to do. I do have a couple like bolt gun arc per 22 arc projects because the drawback in a 22 arc gas gun or as factory ammo is gas gun pressure is like 51,000 or 52,000 psi, where in a bolt gun you could load it up to 62. So you end up getting and it all depends on barrel length and all that shit. But, you get like a 20-inch or 22-inch 22 arc barrel, like you could load that thing with 88s going, I mean, around maybe like 2,900.
Oh, maybe a plus P.
So, yeah, I mean, you could do some different stuff there, but ultimately you're going to be like a couple hundred feet per second behind the Creedmoor. And I think for me personally, any distance I would really want to shoot a big animal at, like I'm thinking mainly like sheep and caribou, stuff like that.
And this was not factory ammo, right?
I think
that it was factory.
What's that?
Hornady is making 22 arc ammo.
Factory ammo.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So I think for me, like I get out of a bolt action 22 arc, I could get all the range that I would reasonably want to use. But if like, yeah, really a 22 Creedmoor for, you know, twice as much powder, you're getting a couple 100 yards more usable range.
Interesting. Well, now you're on to 115 DTAC. What's the targets? What are you shooting at?
Oh, I don't know, man. I just want to, I'd like to kill some bears with it. I need to find more stuff to kill is the problem. Cause I mean, I can, I mean, usually only kill 3 or 4 bears a spring. And now both my oldest kids want to kill bears. So that's a couple more of my tags, but depending on, and I want to make this 6 arc, I have a 22 arc.
Gotcha.
But 6 Creedmoor, I kind of like if I had to make a call right now, I kind of want to shoot a grizzly bear with a 6 Creed bear build and a DTAC.
Oh, I want you to so fucking bad.
Because like really, it's not like it shouldn't surprise anybody that it works.
No,
is what a lot of this.
It will. I mean, I already pretty much can predict the outcome, and it's like I also look to people that have more experience, and our PH in Africa said, "Man, that little bullet, the harder you hit something, the harder it gets." So it's. I don't think a bear, you know, a thin skin, because no matter bears are thin hided, you know, they've got claws and teeth, but they're thin hided. It should just dominate that little bear.
Yeah, I mean, you know, even a big interior grizzly bear, like the skin's thinner than a moose. The ribs are not very big. They're soft. And you should not be shooting them anywhere near the shoulder generally anyway. So yeah, like that's kind of what I'm leaning at now, but I just want to shoot a bunch of them, shoot as much stuff as I can with them. And, yeah, we'll see, but I'm pretty stoked. I can't get enough. It's like a sickness.
Well, once you get the Creedmoor and shoot those DTACs, we'll have to have you on again and let us know how your bear extravaganza went.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of funny, yeah, because I shot so many of them with a bow. I kind of just want to shoot them with different bullets now. For years ago, I always was like, I don't feel like, because I mostly hunt them over bait in the spring, and so, or almost always over bait in the spring. So for a while I was like, I don't ever need to shoot one with a rifle again, and I'm getting over that.
Well, you know, you got to figure out which ones have the most. You say it better than me, but authority. How do you say that, Tyler?
Authority.
Yeah. You have a better voice when we were on the phone yesterday.
Authority.
There's an individual that says you got to have that wallop and you got to have that authority.
Yeah.
But then he did a whole fucking podcast about there's no such thing as knockdown power, which I thought was fucking ironic.
Oh shit.
Did you think that was ironic, Tyler?
Yeah, a little bit. Like, I don't know, man. People just get so. I don't even know how to describe it. I think when people, and I know this for myself too, when people's ideas get challenged, that's, you know, people have a hard time with that.
Well, especially if you make your living so hard on the other side of it, right? It's hard to say you were wrong when that is who they know you to be. That's what you fucking came up cutting your teeth on. So saying, there might be another fucking side of this coin, they're going to fight that. It's just like a liberal. They're going to fight that till the fucking end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard, man. I, you know, and I like thinking of how my way of thinking's changed a little bit. I mean, I've shot stuff with smaller cartridges in general, but just thinking of how this stuff works and what's actually happening and understanding bullets, like I got a lot of projects in mind that I would like to do. If you want to send me $10,000 worth of ballistics gel,
Us too.
You know, but like
there.
Nothing. In you know, sample sizes are important. You know, even from whether it's talking about just how you think about how accurate your rifle is, and how that applies to you using it and being effective with it, to like what your terminal performance is going to be. You know, because like and it's kind of a thing now is people going back and forth on big or small, and it's not like the cartridge is one little factor that's not really that important ultimately.
True.
and you know, like you see different, like for this spring, I mean, not to dive into a whole different story and story time, whatever, but you know, my dad had shot a black bear this spring with his bow, and I looked like he armpitted him, like non-lethal. If you shoot too tight to the shoulder and too low, like it will not kill him. You don't get in the chest cavity. And the bear ran like 10 yards and was standing there bleeding like they do with that kind of hit. And then he starts walking off. And I could see him for about 50 yards, and he was about to go out of sight. And I asked my dad in the tree he's right next to me. I was like, well, do you want me to shoot that bear? I could still see him. And I had a 338 Win Mag loaded with 225 Hornet. I think they're the GMXs, like, so basically like a Barnes, and just loaded like max load. And the reason I had gone with those and the purpose of that rifle is like walking into baits where you will regularly like almost step on a grizzly bear. I say not regularly, but it has happened, and the potential is there for you to like all of a sudden be, you know, a few feet or yards away from a big grizzly bear or something. So the reason I chose those bullets was because I did a bunch of brush testing, and which, you know, big surprise, any like up through 375s, like anything will tumble if it hits little twigs and stuff. But the monolithics, that's one area where it seemed like the monolithics did not, like, caliber, you know, through a variety of calibers, did not deflect or keyhole near as much. I don't know if it's just because they didn't get the tip deformation when they hit a stick or what. I don't know what the deal was, but shot this black bear, like quartered through him, you know, in front of the hips, out the other side, right behind the shoulder. And he flinched and ran away, ran like another 60 yards. We found him, and we thought that the exit was my dad's broadhead hole. Was like how like small and clean it was.
That's funny.
And, you know, you tear them apart, and, you know, wasn't that impressive. And then the next 2 days I ended up shooting one really big black bear, and then another like good sized black bear with a 6.5 and a 143 LDX, and like was tremendous, like exponentially more damage.
Interesting.
And the bears didn't go any farther, and they bled just as well or better. So just like one case where, you know, if you know, a lot of people that are just hung up on using big stuff, you ask them, well, how much more capable or forgiving is a 338 with these 225 GMX is going to be over a 6.5 Creedmoor? And almost all of them are going to say, like, that's going to give you the advantage. And it might give you some advantage in some situation, but like when, you know, 1-to-1 comparison, like, you know, those smaller fragmenting bullets are causing a lot more damage.
Agreed.
So it's just, I can't like make the ultimate conclusion on everything on one or two or three animals, but it's like we're scratching that one on the side of it's not bigger isn't always better.
Right. And then we're kind of like, you know, in the meetings of the minds, we're starting to see more people, I wouldn't say jump on this bandwagon because there's people before us, but now we're all kind of coming to the same conclusions with people that are actually putting animals on the ground. And I'll even say, like Hornaday, some of the stuff they're putting out is actually helping that the actual, you know, head stamp doesn't matter as much as the bullet matters. And I think that's starting to gain traction, and it's because of us and you. But if it's just me and Jake and Form saying it, you know, it's one thing. But when you guys, you know, a part of Outdoor Life jumps on the bandwagon, and there are others jumping on, it starts to carry weight, and people kind of get their minds changed, and that's how it works.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think like there's different ways to look at that too, because people that I think want to discredit what's being seen by a lot of people, you know, they'll point out examples, and like both sides have people that really are talking without really understanding what's going on or maybe even seeing it. So like, you know, you kind of have to do it to see the results, and it's not all like there's no one single answer to what's going to be best, but getting people to like really think about and understand what's going on helps them make the best choice for them, you know, rather than you know, just so many people just pick, you know, this caliber is going to be enough for that caliber, or that bullet's going to be enough. But you, like, there's much more of a like there's all sort of stuff on the periphery that's equally as important or more important than, just the caliber or just the bullet you pick.
I wanted to make a shirt the other day that said "Stop neutering your Magnum" with a mono crossed out.
Well, that's a super interesting point because they're like I think monos have their place. There's some of the mono, like the Lehigh Defense monos I've been shooting some stuff with, have been very impressive, but they behave very differently. So
different construction.
Yeah, but there are a lot of bullets that do kind of neuter down the performance, where you're getting all the recoil, but you're not getting the performance you could get, or the tissue, the damage you could get from that. And I like that. Those bears are one example, but I think if you put together like a suite of cartridges from small to large, and like representatives of 5 different types of bullets that we talk about are commonly used, and you shot all those into calibrated, like good gel, like it with the large enough sample size. I don't know what that is. I'm just this is like one of my schemes or dream projects. I think you would see with certain bullets, there's going to be overlap with other bullets in the larger calibers. So like, it's just never as simple as using just a caliber.
Yeah.
And that's not even getting into like how much ammo does the average, diehard 300 Win Mag guy shoot in a year.
Oh yeah. We don't even want, that's a whole nother topic in and of itself. But anyways,
I just built it. Yeah. Sorry.
You're fine. We're going to do a quick hitter and we'll get you on again and talk more, backcountry bullshit. Mythbusters or something like. We need to come up with a token phrase for it, because I keep hearing how wrong we are, and then we keep showing people that I don't think we're quite that wrong. That makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can like blast a giraffe with a 150 with 115 grain DTAC and have it fall on its face. Like that's, so I don't know. What I gather is like, you get like, if you can at least get some people to try it for themselves, like, and like not just haphazardly, but people do it carefully and responsibly, like you're going to see results that would probably surprise you.
Yeah. Keep an open mind. It's hard for people to do this day and age.
Yep, that sure is.
All right, Tyler, we'll have you on again. I appreciate you coming on.
All right, guys, take it easy.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Yep.
I like Tyler. He cracks me up.
Mm-hmm.
He actually is one of the doers in the industry that sees something, he does it. He doesn't talk about it and say, I don't think that's going to work. He's a trust but verify kind of guy.
Yep. Data-driven approach is always better.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's single-handedly, in my opinion, made outdoor life relevant again. So.
Enhance your shooting experience with STOCKY'S stocks. Are you tired of struggling with mediocre rifle stocks that hinder your performance? Imagine having a high-quality rifle stock that not only enhances your accuracy, but also provides superior strength and a lightweight build. STOCKY'S Stocks offers a wide range of premium rifle stocks manufactured with hand layup carbon fiber construction, a patented carbon fiber AccuBlock, and multiple finish options. Whether you're a long-range shooter or a hunting enthusiast, our stocks are perfect for you. Experience unmatched precision and durability with STOCKY'S stocks. We provide stock installation instructions, technical support, and guidance to help you choose the right stock for your rifle. Upgrade your shooting game today with STOCKY'S stocks.
All right, we have some questions in Q&A, I guess, and we have some speak pipes.
Let's do speak pipes.
Speak pipes? Okay. Jake wants to do some speak pipes.
Speak pipe is that little button at the bottom of the website where you just hit record and it sends us those little voicemails you're about to hear.
We like those because, I went to school in Idaho and I can barely fucking read.
Yeah.
So we have this paragraph up there, but we do have to get to Weenus Pinkle. We do have to get to him at some point.
Renus Pinkle.
Renus. Weenus.
It's supposed to be
Weenus
penis
Winkle.
wrinkle, but he switched the two first letters. Basically.
Yes, we'll get to him in a sec. Here's the first speak pipe.
Hey guys, big fan of the podcast and everything you're doing over at Shoot2Hunt and Unknown Munitions. I know you're big fans of the 308 Winchester, so I wanted to ask what bullet you would use for hunting whitetail in the Northeast. Shots are typically between 50 and 200 yards with some opportunity out to 300 or more. I would love to hear what you guys think. Thanks.
Where did you hear that we love this 308 shit?
I think that's the joke.
That's the joke.
Forum loves 308s.
He does.
Me and you don't particularly like 308s.
I don't really. To be honest, I don't have enough data or fucking whatever to like not like a 308.
Here's the reason. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, speaking for Forum that he likes them, and I'm thinking this: you can shoot 20,000 rounds through it and not have to worry about the barrel.
Yeah,
That's his.
yeah.
And easily get ammo. And to me, it's such a fucking ballistic turd.
And for like whitetail hunters like him though, that's max range of 300 yards.
Yeah. And I don't think I caught the barrel length. Did you?
He didn't say barrel length. I don't think.
So that's a little bit subjective to what I would say.
Yeah.
But if I had that bullet and you wanted to shoot through the woods, I would love to load up if I had a 308 and that's what I had to use.
I'm curious what you're going to say because as soon as I hear 308, there's only one bullet that pops in my head.
There's only one for me, and it's 185 Juggernaut.
Yes, that bullet.
Yeah,
it's always the
that's-
185 Juggernaut.
I don't know what it is, and I have actually never seen one killed out of a 308. I've seen quite a few kills with a 185 Juggernaut out of 300 WSM and a 30-06. They just outkick their coverage in every way. BC seems to be a little higher than they claim, and that bullet seems to open and do tremendous damage at all different ranges.
Yeah. Especially because with a 308, minimal muzzle velocity basically with that size bullet. So it needs to perform at a wide range of velocities.
But let's just go back into so let's say he had a 20-inch, whatever the barrel is, and he's shooting 2650. Well, we just heard from Tyler with an 88 grain ELDM, fucking killing moose at 170 yards.
Yeah.
So if a 185 jug, and they do open well, and I do think they're very similar to a 215 bullet where they have a little more hollowness in that nose. And I've just seen total destruction with that ELD or 185 jug.
What about the guy that's about to buy a factory rifle, but he's got a choice between now a 22 ARC and a 6 Creed and a 308? After all this shit we just talked,
I have never killed a big game animal with a 223 of any size. 224, any.
It's got to be next, I guess.
I've killed a coyote, quite a few coyotes with them. Nothing else. I still will take. Like I'm gonna build. I have this Defiance action. I'm waiting on a barrel. It's gonna be a 6 Creedmoor. Could be a 22 Creedmoor.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be a 6 because I like the 115 if I want to hunt with that, and I like that Hornday just said they're gonna have those 109s. It's a little better BC than the 108.
Yeah.
And I think that's basically it's like a 110 AMAC or the aluminum top. What's the aluminum top?
Why not 22 Creed though, so that we can collect more data in house here and shoot that 88 and see if it's doing what it did for Tyler there.
Well, you can do that. I am tired of fucking helping these people.
That's what we do.
I know what works.
It's what we do.
I just want to build a 6.
We already know the 115 DTAC kills. You've went from small to big now.
Yeah.
That's already it's all validated.
Yeah.
There's enough other guys in the field shooting it to know that it's validated.
Yep.
But you just got this new information about a 22 ARC 88 ELDM killing a moose and breaking his entire hind leg off, basically.
And
why not give it a go?
And Tim Betts, he just told me the other day he just killed a really good bull at 780 with a 22 Creed.
Let's get some more data on that. Make it a 22.
6 Creed. I have my limits. And there's.
I have my limits.
I love our assholes. I love our listeners. But there's just so many assholes. And I've been doing this since 2012 with Rockside. You can lead them to water. It's like a fucking mule that I have. You can't make that motherfucker drink.
Yeah.
So we keep spewing out data points after data. We have Tyler. Tyler's an absolute killer. We got Tim Betts from Precision Arms. He's out there. They killed. He can tell me it's different. Don't correct me if I'm wrong, Tim. But they killed 3 elk past 600 yards with 6 Creeds, 1 shot. Or 22 Creeds, 1 shot. So I'm going to let you and Forum take the 22 lead since I've spearheaded the 6mm.
The 22 ARC interests me.
22 ARC is amazing.
Because I'd like to go with an 18-inch barrel and a bolt rifle with a Tikka, let's say, and then plus P it, see what it can do.
Okay, we've seen what the plus P does on the 6 millimeter.
You never know.
Have you guys plus P'd any 22 cals?
Not that I know
223s?
of. Not that I know of.
That would be interesting.
And like, for example, we're going to go hunt whitetail deer tomorrow. You know, that would be a good opportunity to.
A 22 arc and an AR is.
You know, apparently, so Alex came up to me and said that Forum did an episode where he just said that the 6 arc is the best hunting cartridge around. Is that true?
I have not heard that.
I know, because I don't listen to the podcasts.
I don't listen to our podcast either.
Well, he told me that he said this, and now he has multiple requests coming in for 6 arcs rifle builds.
The 6 arc has a lot of reason to like it.
Yes.
Or the 108
Yeah.
factory ammo.
Yeah. So he told me, he said he's reading on the forums about they have problems feeding. So I started doing my own research, and it appears that out of all Tikka mags, it feeds just fine.
Bolt gun or AR has trouble feeding?
The Tikka bolt gun.
Don't know. Like I said, the 22 arc, the 6 arc don't appeal to me at all.
Yeah.
That's like at the end of the line of performance. Like the 6 Creed, 22 Creed actually does. I would use 22 Creed.
I was going to say, I try to not think about the cartridge so much as just being, just like you just said with Tyler, it's about the bullet, not the cartridge, because the cartridge is just the source of horsepower. Barrel length can change any cartridge into another, all that good shit. So I don't hear 6 arc or 6 Creed. I hear just the 6 millimeter, which would be the 108 or the 115. And then I don't hear 22 arc. I hear 88 ELDM, whether it's 22 Creed or 22 arc. I just hear the bullet.
I'm really proud of you, Jake. You're growing as a person.
I'm the one that's I'm the one that was talking like
bullet,
cartridge horsepower with all these guys when we started.
Bullet is what matters.
Oh, it is.
Because you could, like we talked with Tyler, I see this every fucking day on Rockslide. You have a guy arguing with a guy that shoots a 243 with, say, a 108, and he's shooting a 300 Win Mag, a 300 PRC with a 210 grain LRX Barnes bullet. That fucking 108 is way bigger wound channel.
Mm-hmm.
And you're neutering your rifle with a Magnum with that cartridge. Put a 210 or a 212 ELDX or ELDM, whatever it is. Oh. Totally different conversation.
Yeah.
But I also think, this is me, this is the old Ryan talking where the bigger is always better. I have a concern because I shoot a lot. I think I can shoot out 1,000 yards if the conditions are right. I see that 22 Creed with an 88 ELDM or the 108, but to be a 115 having its upper limit. Right? I don't know. I'd like to see this done. Well, I don't take that shot at 1,000 yards.
I bet you the BC on that 88 is very close to your 115 BC.
I don't think so. It's a 620. It's going to be in the low fives.
You keep topping. I'm looking it up.
I bet you. I'm going to guess that it's going to be like a 520.
You're better at that than me, so we're going to find out.
And the G1 of the DTAC is 620, so 100 points better. And I don't even know 22 Creed that well. What's the average velocity they're shooting those at? 31?
Oh shit.
32?
Well, obviously depending on barrel length, but 32-ish.
Okay. So they're close, and if you shoot a 20-inch barrel UM.
Yep.
So 100 points better is definitely going to beat you out on wind deflection.
545 on the 88.
So 80 points better.
But fairly close.
Not as much as I would have thought.
I guess the real point is once you get below the point of recoil affecting your shot for follow-up shots and so on, and if you know the bullet is, there's no reason to continue going smaller if you're already past that threshold.
Yeah, I would like to. There's also where I like to see other people's data instead of my data.
You want to let them fuck shit up before you try?
I want to see a 900-yard elk shot with an 88 ELDM, and I know in my gut it's going to have no problems with it. And Tim said that his were even kind of high shots, and still they had no issues with those 88s out of the 622 Creeds. And the whole way out there, one of the guys, there's 3 dudes, and one of them had a 7 mag, and he was talking the most shit, and he had trouble with the 7 mag.
It was probably a 168 BLD hunter.
Yeah, we're going to do a podcast with him at SHOT Show. We'll have to have him tell the story.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Tim.
Yeah, I got him down.
Yeah, because Tim is that dude's an onion. He's into everything.
Yes.
But he has some good story, and he fucking shoots a lot of things.
Yeah.
So
I think, maybe we just need a shop 22 Creed then. We'll put a build together. 22 arc, 22 Creed.
So what do you think? I mean, you're coming from a guy that's still not, you said before you're not sold on the 6 millimeter stuff. What do you think, coming from like a 6.5 SOM improved, 6.5 7 PRC improved, 22 Creed, you're going to jump to 22 Creed and take a 1,000-yard shot on an elk?
No, but what I guess the reason I'm still at a 6.5 is probably the exact argument I just gave you. If a child or a lady, woman, can shoot a 6.5 7 PRC off of a tripod and accurately kill animals, all over now the U.S. and Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And recoil is no issue. What is the reason to continue going smaller?
Well, you're talking about yours around 20 foot-pounds, I'm guessing, because around 6.5 PRC-ish.
Well, we're just talking about the threshold, right? So
Right.
if what I'm talking, if a 147 ELDM at 30-125 is now the recoil threshold for handleability and follow-up shots for a woman and a child.
I don't think over a lot of shots it is, though. Because that's exactly what I'm looking for. If we're talking about a definitive, what is Ryan's, what are my parameters? I want a 1,200-yard rifle with the least amount of recoil possible with still a thermal performance of a 300 Ultra.
Okay. Well, I think we both have good data on a 147 out to about
Absolutely.
1,000.
Past
So it's
that.
not the bullet, right?
It's the recoil.
We're talking about the recoil control. So, Jess shot that itty bitty fucking Gims buck or whatever the fuck. It wasn't a Gims buck. It was a Blez buck.
Yep.
I mean, it's 12 inches top to bottom at 500 yards. And I call her a shooter with no skills, basically. She laid down and got set up on a shot and dropped him. Perfect shot. If she can do that with her level of ability,
Okay.
and then Mason can use the rifle. Now, Mason's a big boy.
Yeah. Mason's shot a lot more. He has a little more skill.
Well, I guess.
But that blessed buck, I've seen the video. It's not a perfect shot. It's like in the neck. So it's a little off.
Yeah, but that was the wind call. The elevation was perfect.
Yeah, it's totally.
I don't count the wind part. I count elevation being
but
perfect.
It was Neil's fault. Let's
Yes.
blame Neil.
No, it was.
So what I'm saying, maybe.
But Neil had a really good argument for why he made the wind call that he made.
Yeah,
Basically,
I understand. What
he
you're saying.
favored into the wind in a way that if he was slightly off, it was still a kill shot. which it
Either
was.
way, he was playing the. Either
Yeah.
way, he had some wiggle room there.
So then we're still going to call it. It was a fucking good shot.
Yeah, I'm not saying it wasn't a good shot. I'm saying, but maybe 5 pounds less recoil and it's a better shot.
It could even have been the rock stock could have a lot to do with that because she shoots that really well too, right? So it was on a rock stock. My rifle, the 6.57 PRC improved. That's a 147 at 31.25. Could go a bit faster, but she fucking handled it.
And on the rock stock, let's not to pump that because it's already on hold, but it's coming back off hold in the near future. Both my wife and your wife, and you can say about your wife because I don't know for sure. My wife fought every other stock to get a sight picture until the rock stock.
Jessica too.
And now it's like automatic for Tanya.
Yep.
And she loves it.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to promote it. I'm just saying big heads like mine, small heads like Tanya, small heads like Jess's. The rock stock makes that sight picture easier to obtain.
So back to the recoil level.
Okay.
If they're handling that is now the threshold.
One off handle, how are they going to handle 5 shots,
Well, so you develop some test for this, right? For you got 2 guns that shoot half in, whatever you want to call it, and you want to shoot a 5 or a 10 shot group from both of them and see how good you shoot, right?
Yep.
Like that's the under time because obviously it's follow up shots that are important here. But the difference here is going to be negligible between the 6UM and my rifle. I don't think it's going to be a ton.
I don't know. We'd have to try it.
It's not going to be enough to not have if Jessica can stay in the fucking scope, anybody can stay in the scope.
Well, the beauty of why the 6.5 Creedmoor is so popular is because of the recoil thing. And that's where the 6UM is at. That's why I think if tested on big statistics, it would be the gun for 12. And I am biased for 1,200 yards and in. And just like Kurt from Stone Glacier said, you usually use, he was shooting a 378 Weatherby. You have 300 Ultra Performance, 6.5 Creedmoor recoil. So his daughter just shot a mule deer with it.
Yep.
But and I'm not going to discount that 6.5 147 is still right now outside of a 215 Burger the most killing bullet I've seen in the last 5 years.
Yeah, after Africa, dude, that's where it's at.
Oh, Jim's kids, Tanya, everything I've seen from 147s and the fucking argument on Rockslide is a joke about the 147 108s. They fucking crush shoulders and go all the way through and out the other side.
Mm-hmm.
So let's stop saying these match bullets aren't getting penetration from a raking shot, hard angle forward, hard quartering away. You're getting plenty. Unless you're unless you're ass shooting these deer on purpose. Yeah, maybe it won't get into the fucking vitals then. But why the fuck are you opening up with an ass shot?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm with you.
Okay.
Long way to say 185 jugs. It's good stuff.
Jugs.
Ready for the next?
Jugs.
185 jugs, sir.
Hey guys, congratulations on the Africa hunt. I've been enjoying the podcasts and reliving some of the old memories. And some buddies and I went to Africa a few years ago. My question is on the suppressors y'all took. Did you take your personal suppressors and did you have to put them or declare them on the customs form, the 4457 that you do to go to Africa? Did you have any problems with that? Did you have to smuggle them in Jake's beard? Had to get his beard a little off of the suppressors, etc.? Thanks for the info. Appreciate
Dude,
it.
they were beard ornaments. They were in there.
Beardaments.
You can't see them. It's long enough. Hey, this is actually a great question. So it's funny because when you and I went to Customs and Border Patrol to get our form signed, I can't remember the number of the form, but it's the form you take where basically you have to prove that your rifle is your rifle so that when you come back into the United States, they know it's your rifle.
Mm-hmm.
It has nothing to do with going to South Africa. So it's this paper you keep with you. That guy said something about my suppressor. And so this is a CBP agent, and he didn't know. Like, he brought something up. He's like, you might want to look into that. Well, you're the motherfucker that's supposed to know. You're signing my form. You know, why don't you have the answer? So basically, he said, you might want to talk to the ATF and look into that. Well, that's retarded. So long story short, we both had suppressors on our rifles. No one looked at them. No one said the word suppressor. Nobody checked it. We needed no paperwork. This is getting into Africa and getting back into the States. Nobody said a fucking word about it.
And to add on to that, when we went through that thing in Atlanta, coming through customs, where you have to show that form.
Yep.
I asked the lady, because the guy was kind of a dick.
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Is there anything about these suppressors that we heard that they were checking them?" She's like, "I don't know what you're talking about."
I think that the general public, the general public, probably looks at the rifle and doesn't even know what a suppressor is or if your rifle has a suppressor on it.
Uh-huh.
I think when you make it a big deal, it becomes a big deal.
Well, when we asked Neil, me and Tanya called Neil and asked him some other questions about the lodging and so on. And I asked him about the suppressor thing that he brought up, and he's like, nobody gives a fuck about suppressors in South Africa.
Yeah.
You can buy them at the store.
Yeah, exactly.
So it is only going to be coming back.
So then you worry about coming back. And when we did come back, so we hit Atlanta first, and you had to recheck the rifle in with standard TSA agents at that time, and that's where you was talking about. You talked to the lady.
Yep.
She didn't fucking know.
They were more concerned about spraying our feet for hoof and mouth disease, that's what it's for, than the rifles themselves.
Exactly.
It was a glance at the rifle and took us longer to get our feet sprayed.
My dude didn't even look at this. There was no looking at serial numbers or nothing. It was a fucking assembly line. So I guess I would tell to this guy, we didn't find any rule that stated we had to do something specifically for a suppressor. I would say that you bring your tax stamp with you. Your tax stamp has your information. It's issued by the ATF, and it has the serial number of the suppressor. If there's any question, so obviously going into Africa doesn't matter. And if there's any question if it's your suppressor or if it's legal for you, you have your U.S. issued tax stamp with you.
Yes.
So that's all I would say is bring your tax stamp with you, leave it in the case.
Yeah, and me and Jake both have SOTs. It made me nervous. I brought my SOT, a copy of that.
I did bring a copy of it,
and I'm like, and they didn't even, it wasn't a big deal. So
no one cared.
We took our own suppressors. There was no fuss, no muss about any of it.
Yep. That's a good question, though, and these are the type of things that people get worried about.
It is, and it goes also, we can add on to that. I'll tell you what, Jake can tell you what he did, but I left 6UM on my barrel, stamped. I had 6.5 SAUM brass. They didn't look at that at all either.
Nobody gave a shit. No one even opened the box of ammo that was in the case with the rifle. Now, I will say, coming back, you need to fucking have your ammo. Now, if what my guy told me was correct, he said it needed to be in a locked case inside your check bag. So I felt like a dumbass because UM literally sells the baddest ass 50-round hard lockable case for ammo that you make.
When you said that.
Like, it literally, we sell the fucking cases to guys all the time. Never even thought about bringing it. But you need to have that case in your luggage with a lock, put all your shit in there, and leave it alone.
My people said it didn't matter. Just throw it in your case.
That's
throw
right.
Throw it in your baggage.
Yep.
Unlocked.
So we had already checked my bags. Luckily, Ryan did it. So I had to throw away my Wildcat fire-formed fucking brass.
And if you've ever done that, you know how that hurts your heart.
It fucking hurt. Well, I'll say this. It is nice to have the ammo business to know that I'm just going to come back and there's magically going to be brass there again.
Yeah.
But it does suck.
I don't even fire form the brass, and it still makes me hurt.
Yes.
I'd probably be in jail in South Africa.
I know how you are. You're very particular about your brass.
I like the ammo. I like the way I like it, and it needs to be right.
Yes.
All right. Well, that's one more.
That was a good question.
That was a great question.
Hi, I'm Brett Jarbo, CEO of ADG. For the past decade, we've been dedicated to crafting the highest quality, 100% American-made rifle brass to meet all your hunting and long-range shooting needs. This year, we're excited to introduce our new 6.8 Western and 270 WSM cases. With over 250 years of combined industry experience, we're committed to excellence. Look for our distinct orange boxes wherever you buy your reloading supplies. Whenever you need quality rifle cartridge cases, choose ADG Premium Rifle Brass, where precision meets performance.
All right, I'll have Jake read this because he likes to read.
Well, you already said you don't know how to read.
I know how to read, I just can't read.
How about that word effect right there? Should it be an A or an E? Pause for effect.
Well, it's spelt wrong.
Anyways.
It's spelt wrong.
Here we go.
That's what I know.
It's affect or effect. It's spelled right if it's the right word. All right. This is from Renus Pinkle. So like I said, just take penis wrinkle and then switch the front on both of them. That's what he's trying to do there. My questions are about shooting across bodies of water and heavy rain. One section of my range has 2 lakes. Picture boobies. Pause for effect. Where the bottom of the cleavage is the lake dams kind of making a chevron. Okay.
Yeah.
Thus I get a prevailing wind and strong thermal. When the water is cold, warm air, and vice versa, my bullets, particularly smaller calibers, travel funny, as in might be a MOA or 2 high or low at 700 to 1,000 yards. Second part is during first rifle, I took a shot at a coyote 721 yards from one bank of a river upriver to the other bank. Water was very cold, 65 to 70 degrees, air temp at 9,000 feet approximately. Is there a way to account for these situations? How does the heat cold affect the bullet when traveling through pockets of different air temperatures and densities? Is this something that can be factored, or do I have to keep making shots in those situations and then use judgment? What does heavy rain, excluding wind, do to a bullet's path?
The rain thing I know.
This is a really cool, we've been asked a lot of questions.
Yeah.
This guy's like, he's all the way through the long range shooting game, and now he's in the fucking weeds trying to work out the last variables possible.
Yeah, and this would be like the total answer for him would be able to probably give a better answer than I could, but I do know a few things. On the rain that I have in a fucking pouring rain, and I was shooting undercover, so I could I had a pretty good view, I guess. No effect. And I've asked for him, and I've asked several other people that shoot a lot. The rain has 0 effect on your bullet's trajectory. Outside of if there's a weird wind, that's on the wind, but rain pouring, no effect.
I think a perceivable effect.
No perceivable effect.
Because it does have an effect.
Some level, but
yes.
You're not going to miss a deer. I actually shot a deer at 808 yards in a pouring rain, and I dialed what the rangefinder told me. Okay. And I've shot a lot in pouring rain, and I've seen no effect.
So that's one part of his question. I think the other part has to do with cold drafts and hot drafts, upwinds and downwinds, and bodies of water affecting that. It's not just bodies of water. I think a body of water would exacerbate the problem because of the way that water heats up and cools down and things like that.
It does, and I have shot over a few lakes, and not in the rain, unfortunately, so I don't know how much that has an effect on it, but I would assume the rain still has no effect. But what I think happens with the water is, you know how you get waves, right? So you get all different kinds of winds in there, and I don't think you can predict it very well. Even if you shot across it quite a bit, I guess you'd get a statistical value of this happens when the wind's going this way or that way. But I got some really wonky updrafts shooting across this lake, and they weren't predictable.
Yeah. I guess that's the ultimate answer is there's no way you're going to predict.
I guess you could shoot across a lot of it and get like, okay, the wind's blowing from the north, the wind's blowing, or 12 o'clock today, the wind's blowing from 9 o'clock today. This is what updraft or downdraft is happening. But then you could throw, the answer, I guess, my side is you'd have to shoot it a lot and take a lot of notes, and I still wouldn't be totally comfortable with that shot.
No, and this is where the big caliber argument comes in too. Oh, I'm going to shoot across a canyon. Oh, I'm going to shoot over a lake. I want to minimize what impacts the bullet's path.
Yeah, like a big BC going really fast.
Exactly. So 33XC with a 300 grain fucking OTM obviously is going to be affected less than the 22 Creed with the 8080 LDM.
Yeah, and a coyote at 721 yards is no small fucking target.
No, that's a fucking tough shot.
That's a very tough shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to answer your question for me is I would be out there if you have the ability to shoot that a lot and start taking notes. And I still wouldn't, 721 yards on an elk and the wind's doing wonky shit, I don't know if I'd take the shot.
And I haven't hunted as much as you, but shooting over bodies of water doesn't happen very often.
No, I literally shot across this lake because my friend had a cabin there, and wonky shit happened. Yeah. Like one time it'd be 2 mils high, at the time it'd be 2 mils high. The next time it was on. The next time it was a mil low.
Yep. Do you think? Okay, so I'm slightly retarded when it comes to wind calls. So we're shooting. It's a fucking 72-degree day in October. It's 5 p.m. and you're gonna shoot 750 yards across a deep canyon from one side to the other. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the thermals are going up. Mm-hmm. Does that mean you compensate for that in some way?
Well, it depends on how steep that is. Does it hit a head wall? Does it hit like the?
Let's just picture a pretty sharp V, right? Just a standard straight sharp V, and you're towards the top, right? And you're shooting across that canyon with just that real deep, like there's air coming up. There has to be thermals have to be coming up.
No, not if it's just a standard slope at the top.
No compensation.
No, if it's the head of the canyon where there's a big wall it's climbing.
Like a horseshoe?
So, yeah, it comes out of the bottom and it has time to speed up.
Shoot straight up.
Then, you get into some... Actually, Sean Carlock did a good video on what happens with that if you go to defensive edge.
But again, it's not predictable.
No.
It's happening and you should compensate, but there's no measurement.
No, there's a place up the Coeur d'Alene River that has that exact thing you're talking about. Yeah. And I would go and shoot it quite a bit. And you do get updrafts, and they're enough to miss a whole elk at 700 yards.
So it comes down to experience and being able to call. It's a wind call still. No matter what position the terrain is in, it's still a wind call.
I think a lot of these people that you'll see shoot high spine are having updraft a lot of the times in these mountain shots. Yep. And they say, I just shot high because the back dropped or something. I think it's a lot of updraft.
Yeah.
And it does happen. And if you can, like I tell this, I would shoot that sucker a lot if that was where you're going to hunt.
Yeah, if that was your favorite hunting spot and that's where all the fucking elk are that you kill every year, just get some data on it yourself, I would say. But there's no way to predict. So, the answer to all these questions is there's no accurate way to predict it.
Not 100%. There's no 100% shots, but I would try to get my butt out there and shoot as much as possible. And you should, you owe it to the animal. You should, I'm shocked. Like, my thing is I should be absolutely shocked that I missed.
Yeah.
And you should be that way before you break the shot anywhere you're at.
And after all that answer there, you do need to write back in and explain to us why you want to be known as a penis wrinkle. It's a very interesting self-choice for a name.
Everybody has something they want to be.
Let's just think about like penis wrinkle. Like why would you want to be a penis wrinkle or be known as one?
What's funny is my cousin. That was like when we were little and you cuss and you laugh. Right?
Yeah.
That was his word. He'd always say. So
penis wrinkle.
One day, Aubrey, my daughter, was being a little shit in the back, and it popped in my head, and I said, "Hey, quit being a penis wrinkle." And her and Lane just busted out laughing for like 10 minutes.
That's because any reference to genitalia when you're young is fucking. Yeah. It's funny because it's taboo.
Tells you my great parenting called
there you go.
My kid a penis wrinkle.
Yeah.
Anyways, do we miss anything? We have this rifle in front of us.
Rifle. Oh, we got this too. We got to talk about. I'll let you talk about that first.
Oh, we got a gift. Since I went over and we shot the giraffe in Africa, Holly, who does the shipping, most people from UM, if you get something from UM, you got it from Holly. She's a wonderful employee here that ships everything that UM, Rockslide, or Salmon River Solutions has. So if you got it from them, one of those three companies, you got it from Holly. Anyways, she gave us an awesome gift. It was a giraffe holding a salt and pepper shaker. Well, she thought it would be funny. She changed it to shot glasses with a picture of me and Jake laughing during the podcast, which is pretty freaking awesome. So thank you, Holly.
Maybe one of these days I'm going to come out of sobriety and I'm going to take a...
Well, I figured we could get you a mocktail.
Yeah, it'll work.
And then I'll just take some whiskey and we could do that. But it's pretty cool. So it's a giraffe holding 2 shot glasses with our ugly faces on them.
So thank you for that, Holly.
Yes, thank you, Holly.
And we do have a rifle on the table. If you guys have been watching on YouTube, it is a typical Tikka build on a rock stock. It is a 7 PRC. A lot of 7 PRCs going out the door in a Tikka, and it's simply because it's the best. It's the most power you're going to fit really in a Tikka with today's modern bullets, but it doesn't come in a 7 PRC, so you need to have us build one for you. It's got Tikka rings on there. It does have I haven't seen too many of these Gunworks bipods up here. Did you test one of these?
The first gen broke, so I haven't tested the second gen.
It just at first glance, it's very smooth and streamlined. Looks great. They painted some of the parts of it to match the rifle. I'm not sure about functionality, but it looks good.
From what I hear, people really like them.
Yeah. It's got an ace barrel spiral fluted on there that we chambered in 7 PRC, like I said. That'll be an 8 twist. It's got a TI Pro 4 with a tapered self-timing nut on there to match up the barrel at the 700 muzzle. It's got a Maven RS 1.2 Tikka rings, and it has the new Suyu pattern. Yeah, so it's we're just that's our new trademarked name for this pattern.
That's fantastic.
Yep, it's going to be similarly trademarked as other people do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Suyu.
Suyu.
If you see this on YouTube and you like it, just reference Suyu.
Is this rifle sold?
Yeah, this is for a customer. Yes.
To me, this is like Western hunting people. We talk about all kinds of guns. This is like the perfect,
it's like a standard build
setup.
Yeah,
for Western hunting.
So we are going to. So we've been talking a lot lately, and from a custom rifle perspective, the customer has to come in fairly knowledgeable about what they want in order to make a good choice on a rifle, right? Like we can talk them through a build and things like that, but what we've decided to do is, for Tikka builds in particular, we're going to come out with like 3 levels. Like level 1, so whether you choose a rock stock, we're also going to be stocking the new we have 10 of them here now, but the new KRG Echo chassis. I'm hoping that it's 2.4 as advertised. I may have heard otherwise, but I haven't got the chance to weigh one yet. But it is I think it's a great solution for a low price Tikka build.
Phenomenal price.
So I mean, if you get that's retail $299. So basically, we're going to offer in the rock stock and in the KRG Echo a low, mid, and high tier Tikka build. The low is going to be a Tikka barreled action without replacing the barrel. So like a 300 WSM, a 223, something's been cut, shortened, and threaded in one of those 2 stocker chassis options with a basic Cerakote job, factory bottom metal, and so on. So that would be the low. The mid, you'd step up and you'd get an ace barrel chambered how you want it. And then the high end would be all the bells and whistles.
When is that going to happen?
Alex is our new rifle salesman. So if you guys call the Rifles extension Unknown Munitions, you're going to get Alex, or you can email him at rifles@unknownmunitions.com. He's currently working out the specs. We're actually going to list these on the website with prices, right? So you're going to have, like I said, the low, mid, and high versions. We'll list out all of our cartridges that are available and so on. But this kind of helps you understand like what a Tikka can do by itself without a custom barrel, and then what you can do with a Tikka with a custom barrel, and then what a completely custom Tikka build looks like. And we are Owen, our rifle builder here Owen, our website builder here at Shoot2Hunt is building us a custom rifle building program for Unknown Munitions that is very customer friendly and phone friendly, with information about cartridges and parts, and you can go in and work up your whole build and see what the price is going to be and all that good stuff. That should be out here in a couple months, but in the meantime, we are going to dial in this Tikka program like I'm talking about and help you guys make choices on rifles.
And when I was walking in here, I was reading a message on my PMs. Let's talk honestly about when do you think we are going to have the light version of the rock stock?
We are going to start that project. We hope to fill all of the existing rock stock orders by end of year.
And they're coming in and going out. They're coming in and going out. Yeah.
They are. And I just got back from Stocky, so all the black carbon camos are going to be here in one week, and the rest of the green carbon camos are following up. Once we get past those, we're really going to be hammering on the standard ordered rock stocks that you guys have ordered, and we hope to open those back up by the end of the year. When we open them up, we're hoping to have stock on the shelves. We're not hoping, that's what we're going to do.
Yes.
There's going to be some stock on the shelves, but you guys will still be somewhat custom ordering them.
Yep.
We're going to be very laxed with the lead times to make sure we fill stuff in a timely manner. But I think that right at the beginning of the year is when we're going to start the development of the light. That would mean we start printing some stocks and testing some stocks, and then come to mold and all that good stuff. I think in reality, you could probably have a rock stock light in your hands maybe like beginning of third quarter.
Yep.
But again, we're not going to open these up. We're not doing pre-order bullshit again, all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of the timeline that I see.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I hate talking timelines because I was always the gung-ho one on the rock stocks, and that came back to bite us in the ass. So I'll let Jake and Forum they have more caution on lead times. And there's going to be, and I want to put this out there now because people are going to say, well, I'm seeing these rock stocks. Most all of the orders, what would you say, 80% were railed Tikkas?
Well, I'm going to tell you right now. So all the railless Tikka orders have been 100% filled and filled in a way. Now, when are they going to hear this? In a week or two?
2 weeks. Next week.
Next week. Okay, so those of you that hear this next week, I have 13 railless Tikka 3B stocks that will be going in stock. They are here.
It's October 25th right now.
It's October 25th. So by the end of next week, there will be a product on the website that says these stocks are in stock, and it's because they are in stock.
Yes.
We are going to hopefully, I'm going to keep running that mold. I had her stop right now, so we're going to put these 13 on there, see how it does. And we will continue to run railless Tikkas. That means it doesn't have the scallop. We can still put a rail on it, but it doesn't have that scallop in the front end there where it's all seamless and that good shit.
But my point was you're not being screwed. There's just 80% of the orders were railed Tikkas with the scallop.
Correct.
So they're still behind. The ones
Correct.
with no rails, they're almost caught up. You have the 13.
They are
on,
caught
so-
up.
Okay.
They most definitely are caught up.
So there's another option if you don't want the scallop.
And I think what's going to happen is I'm going to move that railless Tikka to a new product. We're going to put those 13 in stock, and then we're going to allow people to order those until it hits a certain number, and I'm going to continue running that mold if they sell. That's the idea.
They'll sell.
So I hope that, you guys have heard the explanation. It has to do with molds and things like that. So the guys that are still waiting on their railed Tikkas, and you're more than welcome to switch to a railless and get it really fast.
And there is another thing we should talk about is, we'll just get another mold. Well, there's only so many people to make those stocks.
Correct.
So we could buy 3 more molds. Doesn't mean we're going to speed up the production of the stock.
Yeah.
So we're kind of at the pace we're at, unfortunately.
And we're not going to open orders back up for those until they're filled. So that, this, I should say, it should make you feel a little bit. We're way behind on our initial fucking. There's no way to sugarcoat any part of that.
There isn't. But they're coming in every week.
They
We're
are
getting some every week.
coming in and going out.
And the last thing is Winchester. When will you have a Winchester action?
Model 70 mold is done. We are here at UM making a short and long action bottom metal that accepts AICS and CIP magazines. They are waiting on me to provide basically the CAD or the step file for that outlet shape, the inlet for that bottom metal. But the mold is done. Okay. They're just confirming that the new bottom metals we're designing aren't going to fuck something up. And then we'll start making stocks. But I would say if you ordered a Model 70 stock, we're probably realistically talking about end of the year, beginning of the year.
Okay.
For delivery on those.
And the Remingtons should almost all be caught up in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, she's doing well in the Remingtons. Now, unfortunately, so for the Remington mold, that's also Howa, Savage, whatever other inlets we're allowing you to purchase are also off that 700, that single 700 mold. Going into the Rockstock Light, we are going to put stocks on the shelf, and then we're going to gauge what you guys are buying to figure out how many molds we need for those. So,
yep. And they'll be.
We're new in the stock game, but we're trying to learn from our mistakes.
Yeah, pre-sales are the devil. That's all I got. I know we have more up there, Emily, but we'll get them next time because we're already at an hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Anything else, Jake?
6UM brass update. So Ryan has the 6UM test brass in his possession.
It's getting fire formed today by Nick.
So the fire forming only involves the shoulder forming. It is a 6mm up top. And we kind of have a new idea that we think we're going to try to do 6UM and 6 SOM head stamps for this brass.
Yes, I think it's a good idea.
I still have to, don't quote, I'm still talking. I still need to talk to Marlon about that and make sure it's just another bunter, basically.
Like I said, we're slow to the game, but we slowly get it. And I was thinking the other day, if we write 656 SOM on this, there'll probably be a pretty good group of buyers and 6UM.
And then you don't have to fire form anything. It'll basically be a head stamped better than 6 PRC piece of brass. It'll say 6 SOM. It'll be a 6 SOM. It will not need forming, and it will be ready to fucking rock.
Yep. And then if you want to, you can fire. Nick can fire form it. He'll sell it through here, or you can buy it and fire form in your own gun.
Yep.
So I think that's the best.
I think we're still going to do that. It'll be something like half and half. 6UM, 6 SOM.
I think that's perfect.
We'll make a reamer spec based off the brass spec, and we'll carry those other 6 SOM reamers and go gauges. And
you can totally flex on your 6.5 PRC brethren.
Yeah. There you go.
That's anything else?
That should be fine for now.
All right. That's all I got. Go vote. Take somebody with you. Go fucking vote.